Today we're going to talk about getting rid of water. This is a term that is used in our car business, which means getting rid of water is vehicles that are sitting on the lot that for one reason or another have not sold. And everybody gets into that situation where you've got a vehicle sitting around and it just hasn't moved. You got your money tied up in it. You got to liquidate it, or you decide to liquidate it. And that's a day that I'm doing today. And I've got a couple of high-end vehicles, and they're not really high-end vehicles except for me and my business model. And these vehicles are vehicles that I've personally invested in to drive, maybe watercraft, motorcycles, or something of that nature. But like anybody else, I get emotionally attached to them. And when you get emotionally attached to a vehicle, that's where you're going to start costing yourself money. And this is a day that I've decided to get rid of my water and that stuff from holding me down from making money. And so I've got a couple of motorcycles, a late model car, some watercraft that I've got money tied up in. And I've just decided I want to reinvest that money and start making a profit. I've enjoyed them for what I can. The one thing on these higher end vehicles, they depreciate, and the trick of a vehicle is getting rid of that vehicle before it depreciates. So as a rule, the only thing that I purchase is, as most of you know, $1,500, $2,000 cars that are just good running transportation. Most of them are high mileage, but those type of vehicles do not depreciate in the marketplace. There's always going to be a market for a $2,000 to $3,000 car. There's the market on a more expensive car depends on depreciation, depends on income, depends on so many factors. So today I've picked out about $12,000 worth of vehicles that just haven't moved, and so I'm going to liquidate them for whatever they bring and reinvest to recoup the losses that I have on those particular vehicles. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, the first thing I start with is eBay. I do no reserve auctions on eBay. The one thing about eBay is you may not make the kind of money you would like to make off a vehicle, but you will get an offer on that vehicle. And sometimes on these particular vehicles, I haven't received even an offer because I don't really know why, but I haven't received an offer. So my first rule of thumb is to liquidate them on eBay. Now, when I decide on eBay that I'm going to list them out, I use a no reserve auction, and then I turn around at the same time, list them on Craigslist at my rock bottom price that I would take for them, what I expect them to bring on eBay, and that's very, very conservative. So this is what we do to get rid of our losers, and you're going to have losers when you're in the car business. Right now, if I keep my rule of thumb, I win on every car that I buy in the $1,000 to $1,500 range. I make a few bucks off of it. If I drive these vehicles a few months, I lose money. So that is to be expected, but it's kind of, it's not really losing money because of the fact I'm like anybody else. Anybody should expect to have a loss on a vehicle that they're driving, that they're for their personal use. So just keep in mind, when you get emotionally attached to something, if I like a boat, I go out and buy a boat. But I'm emotionally attached to it. Most of the time, I'm going to lose a few bucks on that boat unless I don't need that boat. Anything you don't need, you're going to make money off of. Anything you decide you need and you want to invest in for your personal use, chances are you're going to lose money off of it. So just make sure you're buying for investment purposes or you're buying for your personal needs. Your personal need vehicles most of the time will cost you money.